Hi, my name's Leo and I'm a boat builder and a sailor. Over the last few years, with a lot of help from a lot of amazing people, I've rebuilt the classic 1910 sailboat Tally-Ho, and the mission now is to try and sail that boat back from the Pacific Ocean to the UK to compete in the Fastnet race 100 years after she first won it. Now in this video, I've got to do some work on the rudder, which means removing the rudder. And so the first thing to do is to take Tally-Ho around the boatyard and lift her out of the water. So you can start pulling the boat a little bit. Now I'm going to give you a little extra slack. I want you to bring that line all the way up to that cleat if you can. I got him. All the big balls.
Shut up. Compression.
Yeah. So I mentioned I have some work to do on the rudder, and the issue we're trying to solve here is that the rudder has become very stiff. You can see here how difficult it is to turn the rudder and steer the boat. I have to lean my whole body into it. And it wasn't always like this. It was pretty easy to move when you first launched the boat, but it's gradually got worse and worse and harder to steer the boat, to the point where it's also stopping the trim tab and the autopilot from working properly. So it's really important that this issue gets fixed, and I'm not exactly sure even what has caused it. Sorry, we're late. You want us to go straight back or stop here?
I'll stop here.
Okay, cool.
So you guys make YouTube videos?
Yeah. Can you tell?
How long have you been doing it for?
7 years?
Okay.
Yeah. All right. I'll be right back. So she's out of the water, and it's really great to see the hull underneath the waterline. It's been nearly a year now since I've seen it, and of course it's good to just be checking for anything unusual, anything wrong, but I'm pleased to say it looks really good. We are getting a lot of seam compound squeezing out of the seams. Now that's good, that's what we want to see. It means that the planks are taking up, absorbing water and expanding, and as they're pressing against each other even more tightly, they're even more watertight. But as it happens, it squeezes out the soft putty, and that's why we use a soft putty, so it can squeeze out. So that's squeezed out, and some of the anti-foul has come off where it's moved and where it's been sprayed by the power washers. That's fine, we'll get that all sorted out and get another coat of anti-foul on before we launch. And there are a few other jobs like that we're going to do while we're out of the water, but the main focus, of course, is going to be pulling the rudder off and trying to figure out what's going on and why it's so stiff. So we spent a night on board Tally-Ho in the yard here, and it's not a lot of fun. We can't use any of our plumbing systems, and there's a bright light that shines in all night. But we ran into a guy who watches the videos, and what did he offer us?
He offered up his boat for us to stay on.
He has a Nordhaven, which is a big fancy motor yacht, fancy by our standards anyway, and we're gonna go check it out.
Yeah, and it's just a row across the bay here.
Should we launch the boat?
Let's launch the boat.
Sweet. Nice entry, dude. Nearly forgot my back roller. I don't use this thing every day. My back goes out. Cool. Are we
We're
off?
about to hit a buoy. Which one is it?
The one with the space next to it.
Oh. Shiny.
Alright, We've got a key. Are you ready? Ooh. Wow. It's got that clean, new, not wooden boat smell.
Endless light switch combinations.
Well, I know this is almost as far away from Tally-Ho as you can get while still being a boat, but thought you guys might be interested to see what it's like inside one of these boats. I'm certainly interested. We're just going to be here for a week or two while we do work on Tally-Ho. Really grateful to have been given such a comfortable space, an apartment basically, for this time. So big thanks to the owner of the boat. Let's have a look around. There's so much room in here. That's amazing. I could swing 2 dead cats around. Wait, they don't have to be dead, do they? 2 cats. 2 live cats. Huge galley. Look, I could live in there.
Dishwasher.
Oh. Red lights, white lights. Wow. That's huge. Another cabin. Should we go up or down first?
Let's go up. What strikes me is that there are windows looking out.
Yeah. That's a novelty, eh? This boat actually has a front door.
I like the windows, I like the light, I like the luxury. I do love the sailing too. All right, engine room, let's go.
Ooh. Wow. This is a very, very clean engine room. This is a very non-technical tour, I'm afraid, because I don't really know anything about this boat. But I do know that these Nordhavens have a completely separate engine as a backup. So it's not a twin engine, this is the main, but the wing engine has its own prop shaft and prop, and it's just a backup. Which is pretty cool, I guess, if you don't have any sails, you know? Damn it. So right here is the little block that I have to remove in order to be able to lift the rudder up. But before I even do that, actually, I'm just going to take out some of these little threaded grub screws here. These are in the gudgeons, the sockets for the pins, and if I take them out, I can put Zerk fittings in, or grease nipples, and add a little grease to these. I want to do that because it'll make it easier to lift the rudder off, and also I want to see if the grease actually makes a difference in being able to turn the rudder, because it's possible that the grease, or having washed out, is part of the reason why it's got stiffer. Well, that was easy. Now I have to go see if I can find a Zerk fitting that fits this thread, because I may have had one on board at some point, but so I don't know where it's gone.
Good morning.
Hello, how are you?
Oh, there's some in there.
Great.
And then there's another little one here.
All right, thanks. See you soon.
See you later.
Okay, go ahead. It's getting easier. So pumping the grease into the gudgeons actually made the rudder move quite a lot more easily, which was reassuring because it means that if there is some misalignment, then maybe it's less than I thought. Or maybe there's no misalignment and the issue is just that the grease had all disappeared from the gudgeons. Either way, I decided to take the rudder off anyway because it's still a little stiff and I want to really find out and know for sure what's going on between the pins and the gudgeons and see if there is a little bit of misalignment or if there's some other problem there. Now to remove the rudder, I first have to remove a small block which is screwed into the forward edge of the rudder, and this block is designed to stop the rudder lifting at sea when of course you don't want it to. So here I'm drilling out this softwood dowel to expose the lifting point of the rudder, which is at the balance point. Now to be able to actually lift the rudder up, I'm going to need to use a chain hoist or a chain fall, and I don't have one. So I'm going to go and see if the guys at Abernathy and Godin have one they might lend me. This is a really awesome wooden boat building business in this area, and they've been helping me out a lot. Hey man, sorry to disturb you.
That's fine.
I was wondering if you guys have a chain hoist or chain fall I could borrow for a little bit.
It's not quite as toxic down below.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, perfect. Many thanks to everyone at Abernathy and Godin for all their help, and hopefully we might get a chance to do a little video tour of their different workshops and projects sometime. So I'm just about ready to try and lift the rudder off, and I borrowed this old chain hoist and got it on the boom. I drilled a hole in the rudder, but it wasn't a new hole, that was actually the old hole which we lifted it from before, and we just put a little bit of softwood in there to fill it up with the intention of being able to drill it out easily if we ever needed to use it again. So that's handy. It was very easy to drill through that little bit of cedar and we'll plug it up again just as easily. So I'm just going to start by taking a little bit of weight and see if it starts to move. The weight is all being transferred through the topping lifts up to the mast and then down to the stem. So hopefully that can hold the weight of the rudder. It is very heavy, but the rig should be plenty strong. Alright, I think I've got to take the tiller out. So it went pretty well yesterday getting the rudder moving, and I was able to raise it about 2 inches, but I was getting pretty tired and hungry and it was getting dark. So I left it here overnight, and today I'm going to continue lifting it and then try and maneuver it and lower it down onto a couple of sawhorses. Then we'll be able to have a proper look at what's going on with the pintles, these fittings with the pins on the end, and the gudgeons, these sort of sockets here, and adjust them if necessary, check their alignment, that sort of thing. So whenever we put the rudder on or took it off before, we had a lot of people to hold different parts of it. But right now, it's just me. Marit's kind of busy, so I'm gonna try and do it just with some lines to control it. So I've got this line here. This line is actually just to stop this line from slipping down. And so this one is going to hold the heel of the rudder forward. And I'm gonna tie it up on the other side of the boat here. This is just gonna be a strap. And that way, I should be able to fairly easily release it. So I've also got some lines up on the top that are just holding the top of the rudder forward, because basically the way it's being lifted, as soon as it comes clear of the gudgeons, the whole thing is going to want to swing aft. So these lines are just to control that, stop that from happening. Okay, so now the weight of the prop is definitely on the boom in the rig. And now I'm going to go a little more carefully. Okay, so the rudder has moved in a slightly uncontrolled manner. Obviously I put a lot of tension on the lifting lines and there's a lot of stretch in those. So the rudder was a little bit bound and so it wasn't lifting freely. And so when I came down and just moved it a little bit, it kind of got free and sort of bounced up like it was spring loaded. But that's all right, that's why I put the control lines on the top and the bottom. So it wasn't able to fall away from the boat at all, and the bottom pin is still just engaged in the bottom gudgeon there. So now it shouldn't be bound anymore. I should be able to lift it in a more controlled manner the last little bit. Okay, so we've got the rudder off and there were no major catastrophes along the way. It did jump a couple of times as I was lifting it off. I had a lot of tension on the lifting lines and the rudder sort of got bound up on a couple of different things on its way up. And then when it got released, it kind of jumped, which was a bit dramatic, but no harm done and nothing damaged when that happened. So now it's off, I can inspect the pintles and the gudgeons much more thoroughly. I can check for any misalignment, try and figure out what is going on and figure out how to fix it. And then hopefully we'll be able to get this rudder back on the boat, get the boat back in the water and use it again. Until then, thanks a lot for watching, and a massive, massive thank you to everyone who has donated or otherwise supported this channel. It does make a huge difference. It means we're able to take care of this boat, and it means we're able to keep on making and editing these videos. So I really, really appreciate it. I'll see you next time. Cheers.